Welcome to the Marketing Automation Show. I'm Joey Keller, your host. Today's episode is special and I hope I'm going to make a lot of these type of episodes. So instead of me fooling around with a specific topic, I actually looked for professionals. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about the double opt-in plugin. So there is a company out there in Germany who created an amazing plugin for double opt-in. And as you know, I've been creating different kinds of double opt-in campaigns and solutions in the past. You can see it in my channel. But the double opt-in plugin actually solves so many problems so much easier. We've been using it for a while also by Friendly Automate, but learning all the capabilities of this plugin really shocked me. It's not just a double opt-in plugin. It also has connections with GDPR, with bot protection and all kind of stuff. So please watch this part. I'm sure you will enjoy it. If you are techie, then you will enjoy it, especially if you're not so techie. I did a little warnings in some places where the conversation is becoming very technical. But no matter if you are a professional coder or you're a Mautic user, you need to start using this plugin. It will give benefit to you if you are in the GDPR related countries or if you just want to be a good emailer with using a double opt-in process. So I called up Sebastian Fahrenkrog and Dominic Dalta to talk about their double opt-in plugin for Mautic. Welcome to the show, Sebastian and Dominic. Thank you so much for taking the time to participate in this brand new format. Today, we're going to talk about the double opt-in plugin, but I would like to know a little bit more about you guys, your involvement in Mautic, what you provide to your clients, and how long you've been working in Mautic, and what's your experience, what your specialties. So why don't we make a quick introduction, and then we're going to look at the plugin. So maybe, Sebastian, you want to start?
Nice, sounds great. Thank you for having us, Joey. And yes, my name is Sebastian Fahrenkrog, and I work with Mautic since the early beginning. We starting to use it for several clients, and then we decided to become a full-time company, just focusing on marketing automation and Mautic. So I'm a software developer from heart, and I'm currently the CTO in the company. I do a lot of backend stuff and develop plugins and things like that, and always trying to give back to the open source community. And yeah, I guess that's why we are here and talking about the double opt-in process. Yeah.
So. Really cool. Thanks.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Dominic Becker. I am one of the original founders of the companies. We do web development and software marketing related topics since 2005. And at one time in the past, we found Mautic and started to use it for customer projects and give support. And we noticed early on that there is the need not only to provide the software, but to give support, a helping hand in how to do things and to solve problems. And this is a thing that we are specialized now. We provide Mautic in a hosted version and provide a full service package around it. And for me, I'm a developer also, but I'm also the GDPR guy and have collected a lot of knowledge in legal topics around how to do things legally, but get the most in marketing terms out of Mautic. And this is my focus. I'm consulting the customers in these directions and give support in this direction.
So this is really cool. So you're saying that this double opt-in plugin actually came from the needs connected with GDPR.
Yes, there have been several rounds of optimized approaches how to do the DOI in Mautic. And as you all know, this is something that is badly missing in the core of Mautic itself. They left it to us to figure it out. And we have done so many customer projects with so many different requirements and how to handle this single topic feeds, like a basic newsletter. This is an example you see often, subscribe to a newsletter. very easy to do, no problem at all. But once you start to give more than one communication channel, you have to be more cautious regarding the opt-in and opt-out, not to give too much away, and it starts to get complicated. And when the customer wants to opt out of some channel, but not of all, or of all, but you don't want to block all information, this gets really tangled up and gets really messy quickly. So we collected all the needs, how it could be done better. And Sebastian started then the plugin and is the lead developer and is responsible for the plugin. That is the condensed knowledge that we collected over the years.
Okay, as I noticed, the plugin itself does double opt-in also in different ways. Like you can save information regarding segments, I believe also campaigns, but also saving custom fields. So it's like you created a whole little environment to manage the double opt-in. Super versatile. So you don't have it, but in your company, you also don't have one standard way, right? It depends on the clients, how you use the double opt-in.
You have to be flexible, I would say. Yeah. But you have to keep the legal requirements in the back of your mind. And one problem you have with the standard approach in Mautic, you have no chance to send out individual token-based links where you really have a proof that is only used once. And so this was a long-standing wish that we have a link generated with an individual token, cryptographically secure, and there's no way to do this in Mautic directly. So we had to implement it and provide it in Mautic. And now you have your opt-in email. We provide a tag, a merge tag to get the link into it, and it's very easy to use. Sebastian will show it later.
Oh, really cool.
And now you have really proof. Once this link is clicked, you can be sure that this is a person you sent the link to, and it's not somebody who gave it, sent it to a website or published it in any way.
That's really cool. Before we dig in, are there any other plugins you guys open sourced already, or something what you're thinking about open sourcing?
Yes, we do quite a lot of plugins, and we want to open source all of them. As far as I know, they are all currently on GitHub, but not really documented. And there are quite a lot of advanced ones we really would like to give to the public or document. So, for example, we forked the Mautic Advanced template plugin, which is available, and patched it for the current version. And we do some really nice, integrate some new features. So you can use Twig on landing pages in dynamic contents. You could use the last form submit data in Twig. And so there are a lot of things you can do with that. And at the end of the month, we got a talk on the Lagos online conference about that, and where we will show some features, for example, what we do for some clients. And yeah, there are a lot of stuff like that. We got some mail testing, we got some anti-spam techniques we develop, and we talked before about the thing we are currently working on a application which could copy and adapt all assets from one Mautic to another Mautic and things like that. Yeah. But the only problem is the time at the moment.
Exactly. Yeah. We were talking about that before, that these are not secret projects, but in order to release something, you have to put so much work in it that it's properly documented, because that's one thing, that you release something and people will have some negative comments if it doesn't work. So you are also obligated to support it fully. And by the way, I'm a big fan also of your GitHub entry of how to clean your Mautic. So you have a very detailed list of, that's for me one of the, some problems in Mautic. Let's check that out. I will put this in the show notes as well. Okay, so what was your biggest challenge with Mautic? Because you've been on this bus for a very long time. You said 2018. At that time, many companies felt like, okay, that's just not worth dealing with this. So many bugs, so unstable. What made you overcome this? And what do you think is the biggest challenge now?
Yeah. Okay, maybe I start with a technical point of view, and then Dominic is maybe adding some GDPR point of views. So for us at the beginning, the biggest problem was the multi-domain setup, because maybe all of our clients needs to integrate Mautic on several domains and maybe also several companies, and so that was the biggest pain point first, and especially at the beginning when there was no plugin like yours, which did the domain rewriting, and we developed a lot of things for that to make that possible. And then the second biggest issue was the double opt-in thing. It was always a big pain point for us, and we nearly tried every technique. We invent new techniques, all with just the Mautic onboard tools. And then we finally decide, okay, we can do that. We always was coming to a point where some clients got a problem where double opt-in was not noticed or not recorded, or we got support tickets. Okay, why is that double opt-in not succeeded, and things like that. And then we was like, okay, we could not do that any longer. We need to write a plugin and put everything in it to make our double opt-in process that we got working. So, I mean, that's the two biggest pain points. And then the third pain point was email and the email editor, which is got a little bit better with the new GrapeJS editor, but there are still quite a lot of challenges we try to tackle.
Sounds good. Yeah. Okay, really cool. Okay, why don't we see a demo then? How do you feel about that? To show me around, because the plugin, we use it, like I said, I always feel that we're not using 100% of it. So that's why I asked you guys also to help me out with the demo and show it really how it is intended to use, to be used.
So the way the double opt-in plugin works is it simply adds a new form action where you can configure every thing regarding the double opt-in process. So we prepared a double opt-in action already here, and we did a little bit of description here. So first of all, you select the double opt-in email you wanted to send.
So just do one step back. You create a regular form, and then suddenly, instead of you would be sending out the double opt-in with the form action, you have a brand new action here, which says
exactly
double opt-in process. It's very neat. Absolutely. And yeah, very cool. Integral.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you are configured that.
Exactly. And so the goal is that every one of our customers is able to do the double opt-in for themselves. So they don't need to copy campaigns and configure campaigns or copy and paste specific JavaScript code on landing pages and things like that. They just need to configure that new form action, and there they go. So we try to implement every double opt-in process we got in our company. Yeah, the first thing is you choose an email. Should be double opt-in email. So take a look what we got here. So we got a really simple email with just a confirmation button. And the only special thing about that email is you need to insert a new token we provide via the plugin. So when you take a look at the button here, you will see that the link of the button is actually a token which says DOI URL.
Okay.
So what the plugin does is replacing that token with a specific generated secured link. And when the customer clicks that link, it does the action you configure after that. So it will do everything you can configure here. So
basically, these are the list of things you can do after the customer clicked.
Absolutely. Okay. Before you got the opt-in and after you got the opt-in, we decide that. So
that's really
always
cool.
Yeah, it's always after successful DOE, but also the opposite actions. Like let's start. For example, you can set a specific tag when somebody got a successful DOE, but you could also remove a specific tag when they got a successful DOE.
Really cool.
So, and the next thing is you can add them to specific segments or remove them from specific segments. Then you just enter the URL that should be shown after the successful DOE. And the thing is, the plugin will make sure that Mautic got a page hit on that URL when you click the confirmation link. So it doesn't matter if that link got no Mautic tracking script or things like that. It will make sure that this is also recorded as a page hit.
Wow, really cool.
So if you build campaigns with which got that URL as a trigger, you can also work with that campaigns. One of the last features we implemented is the possibility to update Mautic lead fields with specific values.
So which is also contact fields. It's also known as contact. Custom field.
Contact field. Yeah, exactly. So in each of our installation, we add a custom field opt-in status, and where the specific opt-in status of that lead is recorded. Like it started with unknown, then maybe starting, and then later successful prevented, things like that. We can take a look later on that one. Can you see my update now?
Yes. Yeah, and this is something I've never tried. What you're showing here. Yeah. This looks really cool.
And that's the thing. We also implemented some tokens you can use in that field to make some other nice things. For example, you could add a custom field named DOE IP and DOE time, or name it whatever you like. And when you provide this token, I show here like DOE _IP and DOI timestamp. Mm-hmm. In the moment you confirm the double opt-in process, the plugin will write the specific IP of the user which confirmed the double opt-in process, write it into the contact field, and write the time in the contact field.
Wow.
And now you could, when you export your leads, it's all in the lead fields, and you got every information there. So
maybe let me introduce some bit of information why this is needed. This is a very German thing, because we have the legal requirement to document the opt-in process, and it was taken to court, and they decided that one criteria is we have to have a timestamp and we have to have the original IP. Even if the rest of your logging is shorted, we will record the full IP here, and so you have the proof that this is something you really got from someone as a permission. And maybe in other countries it's not that relevant, but it's already always nice to have a concrete timestamp for your reporting and such things. So
even if your tracking is masked as a setting, you only have the stars at the end. This one, like for IPs, this one will record the real IP.
Yes.
This is really cool.
Yes.
Wow. It's a really useful thing to override this privacy settings in this specific case, because it's a requirement in Germany. It's very explicit, and you have to do it this way.
Really cool.
Yeah. And to be complete, even if you do not configure that, the plugin makes sure that it makes a specific audit log entry with the information you need to document, so the IP and timestamp. So that this will happen every time, even if you do not configure that. But we added that feature to give the Mautic users the possibility to make the export easier, because most of the companies do some synchronization with the contacts, with the third-party systems, and if the double opt-in information is in the contact field, it's really easy to export that.
Really cool. What about email validate? I kind of missed that. What does it do?
Yeah. That's there's one thing missing. It's a kind of little bit complicated to explain. So the problem with Mautic is then it's kind of a security problem. In Mautic, in the moment you send a form with a mapped email field, that moment Mautic identify you as the email owner. So you got a subscription field, maybe newsletter, and there's an email field, and that email form field is mapped to the contact field email. In the moment you send that form, Mautic thinks, okay, the one who sends the form is the one who owns that email. And that is kind of a problem, because everybody who could send a form on the site you own could be just send the form, and now he got the identity of that lead. So we struggle quite a while with that, and in the last time we find a solution for us, and the way we do it is we make sure that we don't use a direct email field mapping in the beginning, but we use another field which says which is email validate, which is just
so it's a temporary field basically.
It's a temporary custom field, and we in the first thing we write that email address in that field, and after you successfully prove that you are the owner of the email address via clicking the confirmation link, we will do that action. So we write the content of the email validate field into the email field, and now everything is fine, because you prove that you are the owner of the email address, and now Mautic recognizes you as a qualified identified lead. Thank you.
Okay, so basically here this token says the email which is captured in the form should be saved in the email validate custom field for now, right? And what's the process? Sorry, this one actually says when you have successful successful double opt-in verification, take the email validate custom field and lift over the email field there. Okay, I got it. This is interesting. Wow. Okay, cool.
So we would recommend to when you do a form like this, we would recommend to not do that, but to choose a custom field which should be named email_validate, and configure the double opt-in plugin in the way we show, and to make sure that only leads who confirmed that they are really the owner of the email address are identified as for this email address.
Oh.
So And this also you can also we also recommend to make the email field not public any longer. So so you don't need that any longer.
Publicly updatable also.
Exactly. So you can turn that off.
I see. Yeah, that's it. Okay, that's really cool.
Basically a problem from the privacy protection standpoint of view. Because if you imagine a situation where you let Mautic pre-fill a form with known fields, and you are able to set the identity with the email hack, you will be able to see what's stored in the Mautic profile. Basically, it's a data leak. And this is a problem from the privacy view. And we have very sensitive clients in the finance and medical field, which where they were really checking on all the details, and so we had to find a fix for this issue. And we never felt quite comfortable with the behavior of Mautic in this place. It's not really logic to us, but we have to work with what we got. And there's so much code points that are related to this behavior that you can't not even try to change it very easily. So we had to find a way around this, and this is our approach now.
This is great. I think, this is very important here in the DACH region. I think that this should be implemented by everyone, and especially it's great that you guys also covered the juridical issues around it.
Absolutely, and to make it complete, there's one more token we use. It's a little bit regarding the process when you make the email address public updatable. Quite a lot of people use that to identify that lead from the outside, like go to a specific URL and appending question mark email gleich and then the email address, and when the field is public updatable, Mautic will identify the lead as a lead. So we like that feature, but it is not really secure because you just need to append a thing to the URL and suddenly you are the lead. And the way we do it is that we provide another token in the DOI plugin, which is a token ID. And this is a secure cryptographical secure generated token, and you can write that to a custom field of Mautic. And when you make that field in the setting like unique and public updatable, you got an external ID which you can identify a lead, but it's not publicly known. You know, everybody knows your email address, and I know your email address, and so I could become Joseph in Mautic. But when you give every lead a secret token, you can identify that lead via appending the field name and then the token value, and Mautic will identify you automatically as that lead, but it's secure, you know, like.
So in order to do that, what settings you need? You have to change something in custom fields, right? So this has to be something set as unique, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. You need to make a new custom fields, things like that, and then you set it's a unique ID.
Yes.
Sorry, it's on German.
It's good.
It's a unique ID, and you can publicly update that. If you make these two settings, Mautic will identify a lead based on the value found in this thing. This really provides really nice possibilities to add third-party for example, newsletter systems with Mautic. You can maybe when you send your newsletter via MailChimp or things like that, or Inksmail, then you can add that to the URL. You can add that secure token to a URL, and the moment Mautic recognizes that secure token in the URL, it will look up if it finds a unique value in the lead somewhere, and then it knows, okay, that's user XYZ, and so you can connect different third-party mail systems with Mautic, and Mautic knows, okay, that's the lead Sebastian, that's Joseph, and so on, and it's a secure process, you know. One thing I would like to mention with that plugin is that the name is a little bit misleading, because actually there could also be workflows where you could use that to maybe do a unsubscription. You just configure some actions that it executes after you click on a link, and it makes sure that it's only executed when you click the link and it's secure. So there are also other things you can do that, maybe unsubscription process, or just when you just wanted to make sure that it's that the thing you just like adding to a segment or thing must be secure, you know.
So basically what it can do is that if you have, so far you did something based on watching a link to be clicked in a non-secure way, with this plugin you can now do it securely and start the workflows afterwards.
Exactly, and there could be also a situation where you said, like for example, let's take the GDPR. You need to provide other users their data, or you give.
That's one of the requirements. What do you know about me? Yeah.
Genau.
Yeah,
give me all your data and then delete it. This is the standard way.
And for example, if you want to implement that way, that you automatically wanted to delete user data, you wanted to make sure that the user actually owns the data. And how to make sure of that? Maybe you use a double opt-in process.
This is exactly where you need to be absolutely sure you give the data to the correct person, and maybe you want to do this manually, but first you want to be sure that the request is valid.
The opt-in plugin is behaving a little bit different than the other form actions. The other form actions are actually not respecting the do not contact field. They send the email anyway. So this is really easy for a bot, because you can send it multiple times, and no matter what you set in the do not contact field, it sends the email. Campaigns or email segments will respect the do not contact fields, but not the email form actions. And so what we did is that in the moment we send the email, we make sure that the do not contact field is of a specific type, and we only send this email under specific circumstances. I think we send it only when the user unsubscribed before. That's the only do not contact we ignore, because we said, okay, when the user unsubscribed before and now he wants to resubscribe, that's valid. But when the do not contact is from a bounce or set via the API, or I don't know, it's manually set, the plugin will not send the email.
That's really cool.
Because it says so. If you blacklist, like wanted to block some leads or some emails to get some leads to get an email, you can set the do not contact, and the plugin will respect it.
This is great. So to sum it up, if I'm unsubscribed as a person, like click on a DNC, an unsubscribe link, and I have the do not contact value, which can be removed by the X. Yeah, that's the kind.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Then this is going through that. So I have the chance to resubscribe. I changed my mind. I want to get this content.
Yeah. Exactly.
If it's any other way, then no.
Exactly. We discussed that internally between Dom and me, and we come to the conclusion, okay, that's the only valid point when somebody changes his mind or wants to resubscribe. Of course, you want to let him do that. But in case the email address is for example bouncing, it should not send any emails because I mean, when it bounces, there's two possibilities actually. The email address is no longer existent, or is having a typo, or the mail server is blocking you because it says you're not allowed to send me emails, and that would be the worst case to keep sending emails. That's a central logic I described. You can see here. Okay, when it says unsubscribed and it's unsubscribed from the email channel, it will return true, so the email will get sent, and in the other cases will not send the email. So that was the part I was speaking about. We also place a time information in that. So one of the next features will be that the link is actually timeout sometimes.
Expires, right?
It expires. Sorry, it will expire maybe after a while, so you cannot use it any longer. And also the thing Dominic mentioned, that it's only valid one time, and maybe then we also do it like, okay, you can use it one time, and if you have used it, you cannot use it a second time with the same settings you make, like that.
The problem was that we need to provide some kind of interface for the people how to define when we have a case that we want to block. We can discuss this. We are open for suggestions. I think for me personally, it's maybe enough to expect the opt-in status to be in I wait for your click state, and disregard it in any other circumstances.
Just to be clear, but in the code, can you go back for a moment? So if you say manual unsubscribe, that includes campaign action. Is also manual unsubscribe. Okay. So either you set manually through the preferences or the campaign action. So this is thought through really well. I'm really glad that you showed this.
If it's bounced, or if you set it via API or manually in the backend, it will not send an email, because then we assume that the Mautic backend user don't want that this lead gets another email. Like you getting, I don't know, a letter from a lawyer, don't stop spamming me or never send me emails again and things like that. And so you must be able to set a setting that Mautic is no longer send emails to this lead. And that's exactly the way we do it.
Dominic, would you say that this pretty much covers the GDPR compliance for Mautic, or is there anything else where you feel there are still holes?
Well, it covers the documentation part you have to do. You have to demonstrate that you have permission to process the data. And for this purpose, this plugin is helping very much. But of course, you have to fulfill the basic requirements that are not technical, but in your setup, how you use Mautic for what purposes, and how you collect your data, how you delete your data. These are topics that we handle for our customers. We offer some delete data cleanup and GDPR deletion framework, where we discuss the time frames that need to be regarded, and then we install it on our customer server and make sure that data gets swiped away, removed from the Mautic database when it's no longer needed or our purpose is gone. Because in following the GDPR, you have always two parts. You have to have a legal allowance to use the data. This is some kind of, you agree to do something. It's the most usual thing. The other thing, if you have, I'm not sure about the English term, but you have a right to use the data in your case, and you say as user expects that the data will be used this way, so you can have your legal case in this case. And the other thing, you have to always have a purpose for processing data, for example, to send a newsletter. And those are the both components you have to take into consideration. And the Mautic part helps, the DOI plugin part helps with the later part. And when your setup is generally GDPR conform, you are good to go in most cases.
Technically, I would say you need the cookie opt-in also be conform, and also the data cleanup. That's two big other technical things, but of course the data compliance and data processing you also need, but that's technically that are the other two challenges which are a little bit hard to implement with Mautic, where you need some expertise. And that's the reason why we invented that cleanup procedure I already share you mentioned in our conversation before of the recording. Two more things which might be a little bit hidden or unknown. The first one is that we implemented a specific report for that.
That is hidden. I didn't know.
Yeah, so we got a special report, do not contact, which provides you the information for the double opt-in you need to document. So you could make a report with that and then export that or send that regularly to some email address. So that is really important, and it like I mentioned before, all the double opt-in data, like the IP and the timestamp, are recorded in the audit log, and the report is using that audit log entries to generate that report. So that's an important thing. And the other thing, which is also a little bit hidden and unknown, is that we got two specific webhooks. One is firing when the DOI process is started, and one is firing when the DOI is successful. So the thing is we wanted to provide is that you could synchronize a third-party application with your double opt-ins. So
it's a very complete plugin, I must say, and I'm happy. I'm really glad that you shared all these because and that you open sourced it. Thank you again.
We are very, very happy that you give us a chance to do that, because we feel a little bit guilty, like having all that features and not documenting it. So this is a starting point for us to do the documentation and give it back. So it's the first step to do that. I would like to mention that, of course, we would be really happy if somebody feels like he wanted to do the documentation or do a merge request in our GitHub repository. We would be glad to take the documentation for that. But I think in the first place we will provide a link to your video and make sure that everybody knows what the plugin is able to do.
Well, exactly. This is the proper first documentation for it, so people can go from this point.
Absolutely.
And it's great that we did it, because I was going to do it myself, and to say the least, it would have been incomplete for sure. So and we will definitely implement some of the features what you mentioned here. I'm really glad about the webhooks too. So this is good.
Great.
Thank you.
So if there are any more questions, please let's discuss them. I'm also got some features on the list. For example, I was thinking about a way to check the request table and prevent that the form is submitting in more times in a specific time span, that you can prevent that. I got also ideas for that, how to prevent that and do that, and maybe to shorten the link which is generated now and things like that. So we will constantly update that plugin, and there will be some more features, especially in the anti-spam section, I think.
It will be included in this one, or you think you will make an additional plugin, which we will see?
Maybe we should rethink the name and make it more general, because when it starts to grow, it gets even far away.
It does a lot of things. Yeah, indeed.
And we got some other things, especially for the GDPR. We got a plugin which could remove the email tracking in the links under specific circumstances, because that's also a GDPR problem. If you are not allowed to do the link tracking,
so you don't have permission yet. Actually, the truth is nobody speaks about this, but everybody's doing, violating GDPR, because you cannot.
Exactly.
I saw a solution there where the one of the twig templates, I think it was Cosmani's twig template, was used to inject non-track code into the links.
Yeah.
But that's again advanced. So if you have a better solution for that, that is also amazing.
It's not even legal, I think, from the GDPR standpoint. It's not enough to promise not to post the data, because actually you record them in the log, and this already violates the terms. So what we did, we worked on a simple solution to use in status and checkbox field in the custom fields, and the value of this field determines if for each individual email we send out, we activate tracking or not. So basically what you can do is you can set up the subscribe form and ask for the permission to record the link clicks in the email. And if the user decided to skip and don't give you permission, nothing breaks, but he will receive emails without the tracking wrapper of Mautic, and instead gets the direct URLs in the email. So,
and this is set on an email level, or it's a general setting which goes through everything?
Setting on the lead
on the user level.
On the contact level. It's contained within a custom field, checkbox field. And so you are free to ask the user all over the place to give permission. You can put it in dynamic content or in a focus item and ask later to give permission. And if you are vivid in your marketing terms and describe it in sweet terms, what you need it for, maybe you get it later, the permission. And so you haven't lost your chance when the user doesn't give permission for tracking at the moment of subscription. You can do it later and incrementally.
So the current state in Mautic is that you can turn it off globally or turn it on globally. And what our plugin provides is a chance to decide on a lead level if you wanted to allow tracking for that lead or disable it.
And then progressively you can add it later.
Yeah, exactly. And really cool. We also provide a way that you could also just disable tracking for emails. So not on a user level, but just on specific email IDs. And we provide a way to disable it on a URL level. So for example, every URL starting with, I don't know,
privacy
demos.de or privacy, it's not going to be a tracking link like that. And this really plays well with our double opt-in plugin, of course, because the double opt-in plugin is, of course, not rewritten. It's got its own secure link, and of course, you can do the double opt-in process with it. But you can then also decide which other links are going to be trackable or not trackable.
Really cool. I have a question regarding the language, because in Switzerland, very important to do multi-language content.
Yeah.
And does the multi-language system of Mautic, does it play well with the double opt-in plugin? So if you have multi-language landing pages and double opt-in emails that just work out of the box the same way?
Well, the most basic thing you can do is to copy the forms and translate the forms.
The thing is, we don't really use that feature a lot because we don't like that it's a little bit intransparent. I think it's a little bit hard to debug for the user when the language is switched and to debug problems with that. So we don't use that. We actually copy it for each language and then use it on the language. But when I think about it technically, internally we use the Mautic API to send the email. I think that part is
covered.
It's good. That part is covered, right? The other settings like the segments and the tags are also internationally. The URL, URL is not localized. It's always the same.
Yeah.
But maybe the other thing is working. To be honest with you, we never tried. So maybe
so I'll get
just
feedback
depends on the testing.
You can think of a scenario where you use the email translation feature to switch the email automatically, and on the landing page, maybe you can use some dynamic content together with local settings to display language-dependent content.
Nice, that would be a solution.
Maybe good way.
There's only one feature left we didn't talk about. It's also the most complicated, I guess. Also,
which is already implemented, right?
Which is already implemented, exactly. Okay. Like I mentioned before, we are specialized in the email delivery part. So we build our own email servers, and so a lot of problems we solve are in this section or technical thing. And so we got a problem with one of our clients regarding the Microsoft mail servers. I mean, Microsoft email servers is always a pain in the butt because they quite often decide to not deliver the email into the inbox and things like that. It's always a huge pain point. But we got one specific problem which really leaves us stunning. Microsoft got a feature which is called Microsoft Advanced Threat Protection.
Yes.
And so basically what it does is when you send an email to Microsoft and you send it to a business account, or then Microsoft is scanning that email and using some kind of headless browser to click each link on the email and to scan the website. And our problem with that is that when they do that, of course, they confirm the subscription automatically. So what you see is that you send the email to a Microsoft account and it directly get the opt-in status confirmed. But the problem is the user never did it. So legally, you're not allowed to use that data because it is not a real confirmation, and you might be running into problems with that. Also, maybe in logical problems because the user said, okay, I never confirmed that. Why you send me email?
Well, I have your IP.
Well,
which
and
is
of
the
course,
same for 1 million people, I guess.
the other thing is that they will
absolutely, yeah.
unsubscribe your recipients by
Yep.
clicking the
They will
unsubscribe
click every
link.
email, yeah.
So
They
Okay.
will
it's a
click
really
every
stupid
link.
way to handle the business, but
Yeah.
it's the way it is.
And they even execute JavaScript on the page. So normally you would build something like make a JavaScript routine to execute something so that you're not able to do it. But the Microsoft Advanced Threat Protection is so intelligent that it even circumvents it. So we did a lot of research for that, and was searching the internet. It's even a part of, I think, 2 issues in Mautic, which are still open. And basically, we found one security engineers which provide us a solution. So the solution is that you place a special link in the email, and when that link gets clicked, okay, it's Microsoft Advanced Threat Protection. I'm not allowed to use that double opt-in, and I have to wait. And the solution sounds simple, but it's a little bit hard to implement, because actually we need to wait and collect link clicks, and when in that time frame we wait, somebody clicks on that Microsoft bait link, then we know, okay, it's not the real user, it's Microsoft, or
Of course, you have
another
to hide the
process.
link visually in the email.
Yeah,
so
or we write especially that's do not click that link. Maybe that is a problem because the users are now really intrigued to click that. I don't know. But the thing is that when you want to do that, you need to set up the queue processing in Mautic. The plugin is waiting a time frame. I think I take like 2 minutes. So what it did, it's after somebody clicks on a link, on the confirmation link, it waits for 2 minutes and looks if the same user is clicking on the do not click link, and if you do, it will remove the confirmation, so it will do nothing. And if after 2 minutes nobody clicks on the do not click link, then it's fine. And with doing that, we find a solution to circumvent that Microsoft Advanced Threat Protection problem, which is also a problem with other security scanners. It's not only Microsoft, but that's the most promised company. And we already tested. We implemented it for one of our clients, and they were testing it with a real user and things like that, and it's really working really good. But this is typically a kind of advanced setup.
Yeah, so you need a queue processing system for that, Redis or whatever, something else which will handle this, lots of new jobs, what you just gave, that please examine every single link. Is it the person who clicked it? Okay.
Exactly. And the thing is that for setting up the queue processing, there are also some bugs in Mautic which you need to fix before that. For example, you for the queue processing general, for pages and email heads, you will need to have a specific setup which handles the queuing timeouts, because if you don't handle it, it will stop working after some hours and things like that. It's a really complicated, advanced thing, and it might be even own video only on that topic.
Yes. This I could pull into 3 videos already. This plugin, what you mentioned for the Microsoft, this is what is it called?
No, it's part of the DOI plugin actually.
Oh, it's already built in.
It's already built in, yeah. If you
But the problem is the extra setup that is needed. So maybe it's not a standard way for people that they can easily follow. We implemented it on our servers we provided for our customers, Mautic installations by default, but it's a bit hard to configure, and you have to really have the possibility to set up on system level process handling features and install software on the server besides the queue itself. So maybe it's not for everyone an easy fix, but if you are really affected by the Microsoft advanced threat protection, maybe it's worth the effort. So we can help out with this.
So I just wanted to mention it. I opened the part of the source code. It's got an own token. It's DOI underscore not human. And when you place that token somewhere in the email, it will generate a link, and everybody who clicks on that link will produce the skip of the DOE confirmation. So
just out of curiosity, where does it lead, this link? What does it open?
Leaks on, it just opens a really simple template in the plugin.
Okay.
Like this, yeah. It just said no human detected, stop DOI process. So
you're giving some hints for ChatGPT not to do it again.
Yeah,
maybe.
Exactly.
And one hint, maybe don't try to hide this link because then this will be a strong Gmail blocking hint to treat you as spam. Hidden links are not very well welcomed.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but so the DUI link is still working, but it's only for this click. It will not skip. When the user receives the email after Microsoft Advanced Threat Protection is done with it, and they click on the link, everything is working fine. So yeah.
I see. Really cool. This is amazing. Yeah, thank you so much for showing all of these, because I think we learned a lot. And I hope that if someone is watching this and really feels like wants to document stuff, then they shouldn't hold back themselves.
Yes, we would really welcome
it. How they should, if someone feels like they want to document?
So the usual open source way can receive pull requests. So maybe it's maybe a starting point. Or if people feel they also can contact us first and discuss what would be good. But pull request may be the normal thing to do.
Yeah.
Maybe if somebody feels to contribute some kind of testing, it would also be great, because we do a lot of manual testing, of course, in our projects, but we feel it may be good to do some automatic testings, especially regarding the different Mautic versions, to make sure that everything works as expected. So the usual stuff open source projects profit from, we are open to work together.
Now this is done for Mautic 4.4 Plus. What about Mautic 5? What are the outlooks for making changes? What should we expect? Like, for example, I'm a provider. I love it. I introduce it, and then Mautic 5 is coming. This is required for me to be able to move to Mautic 5. So what can I expect from you on updating? What do you think? No promises or whatsoever.
We will definitely keep it updated every time, and we also, if you check the comment log, you will see a lot of bug fixes from time of time on new features, and we will keep it updated. Of course, we will take some time to see if Mautic 5 is already stable. I think we might update it if we think that Mautic 5 is in a stable way. Maybe do it some time before, but
we need it for ourselves, for our clients, and so we have basically no chance but to update it. And this is one of the factors why we were a bit hesitant to publish and make it really broadly known, all our plugins, because it's a responsibility, of course, and we take it very seriously and want to be able to provide this kind. And so maybe contributions will help also with this part. We are open for this.
How can people reach you? What's the best way?
I mean, regarding the free support process, I think the best way is via GitHub or via the Mautic forum, I think.
Nice.
Regarding business, you will find our homepage next to it, and there's some way to contact us. So we are always like to chat with other company owners. So if somebody feel like he wanted to chat about a specific problem or things, I think we are always open for that, and maybe discussing or on maybe having new solutions for problems. We're really curious and like to chat about that. So I think the only thing I would like to prevent that we are forced to do a free support via our commercial channels. So that would be a no-go for us. But every other way is really appreciated.
Obviously, very cool. So thank you so much for showing this. All stuff, all basically the whole documentation of the tool. It's so promising and so much needed. And I'm so glad it's open source, and let's hope that someone will, help you out with the testing and the coding. I will definitely give feedback to you as well.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We love it and would find it great if it comes out this way you described. We are open for discussion and working together with the community.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, both. Wow, what a fun interview. We really learned a lot about double opt-in, about GDPR, about bot protection. I think this is a great topic and everyone should use this plugin. I know I said it many times, but I really think so. The more I learned about this plugin, I more and more think that if you are in Europe or GDPR affected areas, or you just want to do good emailing, you should definitely use this plugin. All the information is in the show notes. Please let me know, what do you think about this long format? You would like to see shorter videos, or are you ready to learn about Mautic even for an hour? Let me know. I'm really interested. See you next time, and until then, keep automating.